How can the average person buy a supercar or their dream car for that matter? Where would you recommend that they start looking? How can they know that they're not getting completely ripped off? What would your just general advice be for them?
Forums are still unbelievably helpful, which is insane because like they were helpful in 1999, you know, but car forums are like Ferrari chat and all the Ford GT forum, that they're all still shockingly helpful. You can get an enormous amount of information with regards to common problem areas, what to look at, which shops in your area are shysters, which ones are great. You can get a lot of really good info on the forums. I have learned basically everything I needed to learn about the cars that I've bought from car forums. And talk to owners. Try to drive one if you can from an owner. Try to Turo one. A lot of these cars are available on Turo, and you can rent one and see if it fits in your driveways, you know, et cetera, all that stuff. And, you know, I always tell people, the number one thing I always tell people is you're buying the seller. So, like, don't even think about you're buying the car. Read the seller. If the seller uses the word should of, and he spells it should space OF of, guy's not changing his oil. That guy is not changing it. That guy has 9-year-old mismatched tires. Like, I spend an enormous amount of time when I'm buying a car just trying to like read the seller, Google everything about the seller, try to learn everything I possibly can, and see if the Countach, for example, I bought it from a deadbeat. I knew it going in. He was misrepresenting the car, lying about the condition, but I knew it, and I knew it was gonna be hard to find another one like I wanted. And so I went in knowing I would have to spend a lot of money to get it nice. No, it needs nothing. Well, he's an idiot, and he did write could of. And that was red flag number one. But I knew it, and it was fine, and I did put the money in. But if you want a nice car, you read the seller and really try to learn as much as you can about the car before you go and do it. And try to get a pre-purchase inspection from a reputable shop. Although I generally find that pre-purchase inspections are so hit or miss that I don't find it as worth. I'm a guy with a lot of money, but I don't find it as worth it as some people say.
I always thought that was the go-to to get
same
pre-purchase.
I've had too many friends get a pre-purchase inspection and then get burned, or not get one and then the car is perfect. Like, a lot more of it to me is like, look at on our site, look at every picture. Everyone look for clues. Look for clues in the service history. Watch the driving video 14 times. You know, make sure it's shifting right. Make sure it's sound. Like, I think that stuff is generally better than some mechanic who's not familiar with the car trying to diagnose it in that moment in time. Who knows if XYZ part that can't even be seen is on its way out, you know? And I also have a rule that you just have to assume you're going to put money into a car and you buy it. People are always so mad when they buy a car and it's not perfect. It's like, this is a used car driven by an enthusiast. It's going to have needs. I always budget in my mind a 10% on top of the car to make it right. And I generally feel if you can't afford that 10% on top, you should probably focus on a less expensive car.
For me, I find the comments actually the most helpful.
Comments are tremendously helpful.
People are so in tune with certain cars that I've seen, like seller and picture of 97. The cap you used isn't the original cap and was a replacement. Did you lose the original cap?
Sellers hate this. On our site, sellers hate this, but number one, it's really useful for buyers.
Yeah.
And number two, if you are representing a good car and representing it well as a seller, it can benefit you. Like, if you can push off the crazy commenters and be like, nope, that actually is the right cap. And we tried 3 different ones in here. You can come in and look at, and I always tell people, buy the seller. Well, the seller can, in that situation, rise up and actually look like a real expert who's representing car really well. And I've seen sellers who hate those commenters and they're terrible, turn it around and actually make it clear that the seller really is an authority. And then instead of complaining, I always tell sellers, try to answer his question really thoroughly using good grammar and prove to people that your car is good.
Interesting.